what would be quite possibly the greatest example of an open and shut case by the LAPD in regards to this David case. It's going to be, they have so much evidence, and when it comes to solving homicide cases, they're the best in the country. So this should be a really, really, really quick investigation process. I think he's finished. I think everybody, I don't think that's an unpopular opinion at this point. I think everybody thinks David is finished. And just to see everything that looks like an Easter egg from the timeline of when he met this child and up until the heinous acts that have come about. He's canceled all his tours. Interscope has pulled all promo. Crocs and Hollister, everybody's pulled their endorsements of him. Obviously innocent until proven guilty, but it doesn't look great for him. I know he's cooperating with the police right now. I thought he would be able to finish his tour and then cooperate with the police. All shows are canceled. I'm here in California. I thought he was going to have a show. On Friday, there was no show. It was all canceled. Everything has been canceled. I know Kali Uchis had previously collaborated with him, is pulling her collaboration. So everybody is kind of distancing themselves from David, which would look like a bright and shining star, like he was on his way to becoming that 36 million monthly listeners, few songs over 1 billion streams, a cult like fan base. He had the youth in the palm of his hands, and just to see this type of case happen time and time again with a lot of the youth's rising stars. But you know, artists are some of the most troubled people on this planet. Not to say they're all capable of this heinous crime. This is really somebody that was deeply disturbed, if true, which looks like it is. It's just no way of defending this. Even his core audience, who were once like, he couldn't have done this, all this, the timeline doesn't line up, and this and this and that. He was on tour. It only gave him a couple of days. I think all that has been ruled out. I think, you know, it's insane. So I'm just gonna watch Shawn C cover this. I picked him to react to, so I'm gonna do a little reaction inception because he's probably gonna fry, bro. So I just want to see Shawn C fry, bro, real quick.
A week ago, when I heard that there was a body, I think, found in the back of David's car or Tesla,
which is the least stolen vehicle imaginable, and there's cameras everywhere. So this is gonna be a very seamless and quick process for him.
You know what I mean? Vehicle, you know what I'm saying? And I know that the dude's on tour right now. So when I heard that news, I'm like, wow, that's shocking. But I didn't really give much weight to it because of how visible he is and how well known he is. Like, I'm not putting David on like the Weeknd's level or anything like that. But for such a public endorsement musically, I've been hearing his music in a lot of places.
And he signed a Darkroom, which I think is also Billie Eilish's label. So he was in good hands, and likely protected by his management and label to protect the cash cow, because he was a cash cow and would continue to generate revenue. So everybody's saying that, you know, he's 18, so somebody got the house that he was living in. His management, likely it's hard to get a house rental when you have no credit and you're 18. Yeah, you have the cash for it, but it's hard to have that without a cosigner. So his management is complicit in this, what it seems like. I'm not going to throw that smut on their name and say exactly they were complicit or they knew exactly what was going on, but it's hard to believe that they didn't have some sort of idea that this was going on.
One more specifically being behind the soundtrack of Invincible. You get what I'm saying? So me hearing his music in a space that was, I'm like, very, I would say semi popular.
He did, yeah, very, very much so. He did the Fortnite soundtrack. He's collaborating. I mean, he's next to, you know, if you're known, I found him through FaZe Jason Ween. So, you know, streamers in popular culture are the stars of this era. So to be associated, I know he was featured on Black Boy Max's Song Wars. I think Max was talking about doing an In the Booth with him and didn't transpire, obviously. But he was doing all these different soundtracks. He's signed to the same label as Billie Eilish. You're on Interscope. Yeah, you're on the Billboard 200. You're on top 40. If not top 40, at least top 100. Facts. I'd have to agree with Shawn C on this.
And it's not like bad music. And he had a good year before that. I'm sitting up here thinking like, okay, you know, there's no reason for somebody that's this visible to be doing something like that. You know what I'm saying? So I just wrote it off immediately because I'm like, all right, maybe somebody stole your whip and you reported it stolen, and that's how they found it. You get what I'm saying? Good evening to you too, Mavis. I'm thinking like, okay, you reported your vehicle, and that's how the police found the vehicle, and then they open the trunk, boom, here's a body. That's what I'm thinking.
But you wouldn't have any prior knowledge that your vehicle was stolen prior to that? That was my main question. I think a lot of people's question. Like you had no knowledge that your Tesla was even missing to begin with. Like, yes, you may be on tour, but nobody else is maybe house sitting, watching the vehicle, neighbors, this and that. And then that rules it out immediately with Teslas being the least stolen vehicle. So I think that I learned that just by sitting here and just observing. Didn't have any statements, didn't have any opinions. I just want to see all the evidence come out, because I've done this a couple of times where I've jumped out and be like, there's no way he's innocent and the timelines don't matter. And I've been on the wrong side of history. So me growing older, I'm more of the belief that just wait until this unravels and then come to a conclusion, an objective conclusion, when the more the facts come out, because they're going to come out, because it's hard to be a criminal in this era. They're going to get the cell phone towers they're going to get both her cell phone, his cell phone, the cameras on the whip. There's probably cameras in Hollywood. There's just no way and you being that visible, there's no way.
Earlier, no, you're here. I mean, it's easy to spot me.
He got to get paid too. I see the ads on it. I'm gonna let bro get paid. That's why I don't have ad blocker on it. I like the YouTubers that I react to get paid, and obviously I'll feature the link in their description box below if you don't want to see me yap the full video at least. But yeah, I just think that it's a shame that everyone, not everyone, but a lot of the newer acts are either going to jail or dying or losing, either dying, losing their life and somehow either to the grave, which is drugs, maybe murder, or they're going to the jail for the rest of their lives. And it's hard for the new generation to leave their imprint and their impact. So I feel like it's hard for you guys to really, because I think it's with music, television, and maybe television and movies are two different things because of the writer's strike. And I just think that like that industry is cannibalizing itself, but it's no different than the music industry in that it's cannibalizing itself. And that if this man was deeply disturbed, you could have seen the warning signs before it got too late, and maybe got him away from that situation so that he can continue his career and get the help that he needed to get. But a lot of people are turning a blind eye to you're picking these young and vulnerable people, these talented people. And I'm not to say that he's completely absolved. He's sick in this situation. He deserves full accountability, and he will be prosecuted to the fullest extent of the law should the evidence suggest that he did this heinous crime. I'm not absolving this from him, and rest in peace to the young lady, the child that was, brutally taken out. All I'm saying is that you're handpicking these artists from underprivileged communities, and you're not giving them the tools to live life. And there's no way of preparing for superstardom or a life as an artist, or what I will call as a cage animal, because you have this fame and stuff like that, and it becomes hard to be human once you're that visible. So all the things that you were dealing with, mental health wise, emotionally wise, unstable wise, things that you're dealing with your family, it's only magnified, and the pressure intensifies once you're giving all this money and all this visibility and all these eyes without the tools to deal with it, without the tools to deal with your own emotions. And he was 20, so he probably had a lot going on prior to coming into fame that he probably had to work through. And a lot of these artists are they don't know how. They don't know what's going on with themselves. So if they don't know what's going on in themselves, and you sending them out into the world to be this sort of hero or be this sort of role model, and they don't know what's going on with themselves, it's making for a catastrophic cycle that we're seeing time and time again. I'm seeing a pattern repeat itself. And quite frankly, I would like a solution, but it doesn't seem like there is one at this moment in time. But yeah, go back into the video.
That he never reported his vehicle stolen. And so I thought to myself at that point, I'm like, oh, you don't just lose a car. You don't just lose a vehicle. You get what I'm saying? You don't just lose a whip and then move on to your next whip without getting closure on the previous whip. You got to whip up a new whip.
If you're still here, I apologize for pausing so much. You're probably gonna like, let Shawn C talk. I will. I promise.
I did not expect the continuous onslaught of news to continue beyond that point. I didn't. I'm like, at this point, it got to be over. But I put two and two together. In my head, I felt like he was doing it after he didn't cancel his shows or he didn't stop his tour. I'm taking a pause. If the police or any news bulletins come out talking about, we found a body in the back seat or in the trunk of a vehicle that's registered in your name, I'm stopping all musical endeavors in that exact moment, and I'm getting to the bottom of this, because first of all, my name being put out crazy. Number two, what the fuck I got to do with this? Number three, who put a body in my trunk? But he's still touring like everything all good. I'm like, nigga, go home.
Go back to the crib and handle that. But it was gonna handle itself. That's not something you can run away from. It was going to be waiting for him. I think he just felt like he could delay the inevitable. Like before even leaving the tour, he knew what was going on. Like it was just inevitable. And I just think that him leaving the tour was like his final goodbye, his final hoorah. I just think that the theme of the tour, with it being a pretty much a funeral on display with the casket and everything like that, was just like, this is my final goodbye. This is my send-off.
Talk to the cops. I'm 90% sure they want to have a conversation. You know what I'm saying? Like they had to have contacted him or something. Chat, when they said there was a young girl identified, a young girl, not a 18 to a 21 or a 20-something-year-old, 25-year-old or nothing like that. No, they said a 13-year-old. They said a 13-year-old girl.
Who you met when you were 11. And there's rumors that he got her pregnant prior to that. I don't know if that's been confirmed in that. You let me know in the comment box down below if you're a David fan. I would assume if you're a David fan, you're watching all these. Maybe you come across this video. I know there's so many people commenting on it. It's like even people that weren't David fans or alternative music fans, they're calling him a rapper. He wasn't a rapper. They're calling him an R&B singer. He wasn't an R&B. You could probably get away with R&B more than you can get away with rapper. He wasn't a rapper, but an alternative singer, because his influences were The Neighborhood and Arctic Monkey. That's alternative. It's not R&B, but I know people like to throw, dark, moody, melodic music in with R&B, and it is rhythm and it is blues to some extent. So I guess that classifies. All I'm saying is that people that wouldn't necessarily listen to that music or be in his demographic are covering it because it's such a heinous point in modern history. Like this is going to be talked about for years, and it's going to be a documentary. There's going to be several documentaries. Some of
the bulletins that I read, said 15, others quoted 13. I don't know if that missing persons post was accurate or if it's 100%, but that one says 13 years old. So she was 13 when she disappeared, and she's 15. She would have been 15 around today. So in my mind, I'm immediately now everything, there's no more what do you call that, grace that can be afforded now. I don't know if it's that there was no more doubt, but it's that the stakes were raised like instantaneously, obviously, because I'm thinking in my mind that this is just a young adult, which is still horrible and horrific.
But she's a child, so there isn't any grace. Yeah.
But now that you're upping it to, this is a child, this is basically a little girl, and then they showed the next thing, which was the most damning. There is a tattoo.
Yeah, the tattoo. And I've seen, she was found, or she was last seen with a Hello Kitty, and he has Hello Kitty studs, and it's like, ugh, this shit is bad. He did that shit. I'm sorry if you're a David fan. He did that shit. It's okay. I've lost a couple of my favorite artists. And this is where the conversation is, can you separate the human from the music? If you're still going to continue to listen to the music, I'm not saying it's okay. I'm not saying it's not okay. But sometimes we have a relationship with the music and it's got us through tough times. And you're like, damn, why though? And other times it's hard to even listen to the music because it's hard to separate the human from the music. I understand both perspectives and both sides of the coin. But I understand. Like anybody who's grieving the situation, I understand. To find out your favorite artist is a disgusting human being is an experience I wish on nobody who's a true music lover. It's one of the worst experiences that you can have. Like, it's like, because you can't even, because you want to shout to the mountaintops how this artist has changed your life, and this artist was able to understand you and be there for you when nobody else, when you thought nobody else could, want to listen to you, be there for you. You had somebody, you had some sort of solace. You had that type of, it's a parasocial relationship, as the kids would call it, but it's something that it's just like, if it's helping you through a trying and tough time, that's what music is. Music is healing, and a lot of people heal through music. But it's hard to heal when art imitates life and it's in the worst way, in the worst scenario. I empathize with everybody in the situation. Yeah.
Apparently, first of all, they say that the little girl is like dismembered.
Yeah.
They said it was badly decomposed in the trunk, meaning she's been there or been dead for a long time. And maybe she's been moved around over the course of God knows how long. But she was reported missing years ago. Then there's a quote, I guess, from the mom saying that the boyfriend that she had.
His name is David. I just did a reaction to this nigga, man. The Summer Uptown record with Jason and Wayne. I said this shit is good. It's talented. I'm looking forward to listening to more David music when I had a time. So I would see him around. I was just like, all right, I'll get around to it. And then that was a week before this. Like, I just reacted to it. And I was like, all right, cool. I have some weird way of finding artists right before things like this happens. It's weird, strange. But deeply, yeah. All right. I'm gonna let him talk. I'm sorry.
Had at the time was David. I'm seeing all these text messages and all these weird, you know what I'm saying, pieces of communication that are like showing her speaking to maybe a friend or something, saying like, I want to go back home, but I'm safe, but I'm not.
And he's making lyrics about it like, you don't love me anymore because you want to, the runaway theme is prevalent in his music, and that like, stay with me, come live with me. She want to go home, man. She's 14. She misses her friends. Let that girl come home. And my sister's name is Celeste, which is crazy.
And then these pop up, and then I'm just like, dude, this like, what is this? Where's the doubt? Where's the doubt? That to me, that looks like, that kind of almost looks like exactly the same girl. Now, I saw some clips of some other shit that they were trying to put together on stream and say like, oh, this might be her. I'm gonna be honest, that other one don't look like her. This looks exactly like the girl. You can see the little curly lock, or I said lock. You can see the little curly hair right here. We got the bedazzled beanie up top. I'm hearing talks that bro like Hello Kitty.
Can you imagine? Because I'm just thinking about it. I'm reflecting it as I'm letting him talk. But can you imagine being in the same class as her, or having the same teacher years after, and then the teacher be like, I had her in my class. And now like you're in the class, and now everything becomes a cautionary tale about like meeting people on social media and being aware of being lured and groomed. Imagine being part of a history lesson in the worst way.
Like, dog, this shit disgusting. They were saying that there was a song that was released. I haven't heard the song. I don't know anything about any type of song. Singer David has a tattoo that matches the one found on the body of the 15-year-old girl discovered in his Tesla. This is so sick. This is so sick. Because I could just imagine. Yeah, nah.
I just don't understand why. And he had lyrics Easter eggs. I don't know. There's no way to confirm them unless we get into his mind, but it seemingly hints at the fact that like I don't want to wait around. Like he understands that this girl is young, and there was the point of like the people were saying like I guess they were trying to blackmail him, the kids or friends or people that went to school with Celeste, and was just saying that like we know what's going on, and then they got into information like, yo, don't release this. Like I guess back and forth DMs of him being blackmailed, and the kids were like, please don't release this information. It can ruin his life and my life because if this information is released, he knows exactly who to tie this back to. I'm just saying, to even end up in this place to begin with, is that you are a rising singer. He's not a bad looking dude. It's going to be plentiful opportunities to find love that is legal, passionate, and people that will, and women that would be happy to be around in your presence because you're a successful artist, or at least a rising artist at the point that he met Shorty, or I can't even call her Shorty. He met this, I got to call her what she is. When you met this child, when you met this little girl. So, not to absolve him, not to say that he's just that there's something not right up there. Like anybody in their right mind would be like, why would I jeopardize when I know this is coming. I see my shit taking off in a meteoric and real way. That shit's going to be waiting for me. I don't even have to wait. I don't have to worry about it. There was literally no reason to go down this path of self-destruction. I just can't. I don't know. I'm befuddled. It's strange. It's confusing. I don't understand it.
Shh. And you're talking to a 13, 14, 15-year-old girl on some like don't tell nobody shit? That sounds sick as fuck. That sounds sadistic as shit. What do you mean shh? What does that mean, man? Like, I don't want to jump the gun. Where else am I supposed to go with this?
Where else to go, bro?
Matching tats she's found in the back of your trunk? Bro, okay, this is another thing. I don't want to be like, again, I hate acting like a doomer anytime things like this happen, but like something has to be further regulated with Discord. It just has to. Like, it's at mainstream levels now where almost anything goes. I don't know what needs to occur. I don't know.
Yeah, what would you do? Face ID, facial recognition. Like, there still be ways to get around it. And I feel like you would actively kill that app if you tried to police it, and it would be hard to do. I think Discord is catered to the young people and children. Maybe you can do something with a parental lock, so it makes it so that if you're underage, you would have to link your guardian. I don't know exactly as a developer if that even would benefit the app in that way. But anything that you can recommend a solution-wise, I think would effectively kill the app.
I don't know what like mandates need to be put in place, what moderation, what tools, what auto detection, if we need like a age identity, like face scan verification thing. I don't know, but it seems to happen way too frequently. Any type of insane, freaky, deviant behavior running through Discord at some point.
Yeah, young Don the Sauce God, I don't know if you watch him, he does great reactions. He said that we are far removed from the times where we teach our children to be mindful and aware of like the old man or the older man in the ice cream truck, or like being abducted in that way. He says the predators have adapted. They're in Instagram DMs, they're on Snapchat, they're in Discords. And yeah, I do like that point that he made on that.
There shouldn't even be a vid of you two in proximity. The fact that there's this image or this photo or this vid or this screenshot, that's enough. I don't know what this image even is, but I'm just now coming.
The image of it is, if he hasn't found out by now, is that, yeah, it's him paying them off near Lake Elsinore, which is close to, it's the IE. It's the Inland Empire, if you don't know exactly, in California. But this is the picture of him paying them off.
In terms with the fact that they would have had to have had a level of relationship when she was like 11 or 12 years old first. If it was 13, it wouldn't have mattered. 14, 15, it wouldn't have mattered. But Jesus Christ. I feel like a surfaced photo shows David in Lake Elsinore. I don't know what that is. Just a couple of miles, or not even a couple of miles, from the home where Celeste lived with her family before she disappeared in April.
I also didn't know, this is also a point to make. There is no Romeo and Juliet law in California. So even if he was 18, even though it was 1 year difference, like if she's under 18, it's still considered unlawful, if you were wondering. So California don't play about that shit.
The spot where David was photographed is only a 6-minute walk from her residence. I'm trying to think about like what the explanation is for this. Not even how you get out of this, but how do you explain the context of these photos? If you're trying to pass this off as like nothing to worry about, what is your excuse for this? What would have been the purpose for you meeting up with 2-3 high school or lesser than age students? What would have been the purpose? And I'm not gonna pretend like artists are above putting, horrible shit that they've done in their music. I mean, we hear it and see it all the time. Melly's still on fucking trial for his shit.
He gonna lose that shit. Yeah, he gonna lose that shit. If y'all thought Melly was gonna beat that shit, he gonna lose that shit. And Dirk is probably gonna lose that shit too. I'm just being honest. Like we're talking double murder and we're talking murder for hire. It's a wrap. It's a wrap.
So I'm not in any stretch of the word sitting up here thinking to myself like this is impossible. It's just, somebody this visible being in a lot of people's faces having done something like this potentially is what is the
check on my camera.
I guess, like, bro, this video has almost 200 million views. I don't even want to see this. Like, this girl might have been 11 years old when y'all first started talking. This girl literally might have only been a year or two away from a 10-year-old when y'all started talking. And David is how old? And the fact that the show only was canceled after the body was identified was the biggest thing. Because to me, if they're saying that this body was badly decomposed and also dismembered, there might have been a chance in his mind, if he got something to do with this, there might have been a chance in his mind where he's thinking,
he beats this shit.
They might not figure out who it is, yeah. So I might not need to cancel my show. This could be chalked up to almost anything else. There's just so much shit running through my mind. This just sounds so, it feels so dehumanizing to look at something like this through the eyes or through the lens of a music video and then be like, oh yeah, nah, like, it just feels too conspiratorial.
It changed the context of everything, it's a thin line between artistic genius and reality and how sick and twisted it could change immediately. Like, before all this, you're probably like, this is a creative and artistic genius. If this is all thematically in theory and if this is all just euphemisms, metaphors, and analogies for just love dying, and you're giving them human characteristics and playing it out as if it was a real life murder, and it's not, and it's just really your artistic liberties and license on full display, you become one of the greatest young artists of our generation. And then when it's found to be based on actual human life, you see how far you can go from artistic genius. Like, the fall from grace is so catastrophic. You can go from artistic genius, the line it's not that thick, it's very thin, from artistic genius to one of the sickest niggas to ever live. It's crazy.
Like, to feed into it, I just feel nasty.
And TBH, I work in a middle school here and the girls/guys are thots in training. It's sad to see. Trying to grow up way too fast and sexualize everything. Parents gotta do a better job policing and watching their kids.
But that's hard for the parents too, because it's like, the more you gotta do it in a way where they're like, it's tough. It's tough because sometimes the more parents tell their children not to do something, the more they're gonna want to do it. So it's like, what do you do? I'm not a parent, so I can't really say that, like, yo, the parents need to do better. Maybe they're doing all that they can do. I'm not privy to her situation at home. But I know a lot of people are saying that you don't know your child is missing this long. You're not doing a wellness check or anything like that. But from my understanding, she was with David, left to go back home, and then left again. So it's just like, what if I did all I can do? I don't know. As a parent, what if I did all I can do? And this is just something that's just his grip on my child. I don't know. I'm not gonna act like I know the answer to that.
They're doing whatever.
I mean, I agree, but at the end of the day, it's like, what?
Not
This
so
isn't
much
even
a
on
confession of
anybody.
a crime
It's
as
just,
it is a confession
you're
of
a
a desire that he
predator.
ultimately went through with.
This is a
Despicable.
This is a predator, though. It's like, at the end of the day, it's like, you could get on whatever, like, moral high ground or whatever, like, you need to do this. It's like so much preparation on people that don't have or shouldn't have to be thinking about this. I get precautionary details and everything like that. But the proactive approach here is to, like, you don't know how you deal with a pedophile. I genuinely don't know how you deal with a
And updated one at that. Like, this is probably something different than Celeste's parents have never seen before. This is some new age predatory shit though. This is new. Like this predator shit has been patched. Like there's been new versions, new installments that they not even like they still operating on Windows Vista. Like look where we're at. This is Chat GPT version 5 type predatory type shit. It's there's got to be classes on this. There's got to be information on this that older parents can be up to date with to understand I'm agreeing with Shawn T. Like, how would you even know how to prepare for this as a parent?
before they do something. Especially when, like, it seems so many of them know how to be covert and, like, try to hide their intentions. Like, obviously somebody that's on the cusp of pedophilia isn't gonna be the first to acknowledge their inappropriate behavior and be like, oh, I need help. They're not gonna be the ones to address it. So generally somebody get victimized first before they're found out, and then boom, the damage is already done. There are signs. I'm not saying that you can never tell, but what do you do in situations like this, bro? Like, what? When there are purposefully no adults around. It seems that all the people in this that had any knowledge of it were all underage. We're all minors. We're all kids. I'm not watching this, bro. I'm gonna be honest. I can't.
Yeah, that shit over with, bro. It's curtains on it. It's curtains.
That's a little.
It's curtains.
That's a little nuts to me. If there is a connection there, cool. I mean, you know, from the sense of like, hopefully he's caught. But like, what the fuck? All they need to tell me is if the license plate was removed. If that tag gone and that license plate is off, GG. Fuck is this?
Dust continues to get worse.
Any collaboration is insane now, bro. It's the same. No, man. This is the same. Bro, it's the same. Yeah. Yeah, it's over here.
Grand opening, grand closing. All right, I'm gonna link the rest of this video. You know, I'm not gonna watch the entire thing. I pretty much understand where it's going from here. If you want to watch him without me yapping all over it, I'll drop the link to the original video in the description box down below. See those videos. Always, I'll be safe. Sweet.